What is BusinessLOG? BusinessLOG is a log management, data loss prevention, SIEM, asset management, RMM, and industrial IoT security system with a particular focus on NIS2, GDPR, and ISO 27001 regulatory requirements. BusinessLOG is a system that involves installing software on a physical or virtual Windows machine and collects information within a network infrastructure in agentless mode. Alternatively, agents installed on the machines to be monitored can be used. Use administrator accounts for remote information collection or GMSA usage. Initial configuration involves managing the domain or workgroup. You can inventory all software, hardware, and delete logs from the remote PC once the scan is complete. You can define the data retention period for information from a minimum of 6 months to as long as you wish. How we see the service launched: Italian language or English language. The system records logs in its own native database, not SQL. In addition, you can generate encrypted XML files and define the path, as well as database backups. It is also possible to define standard working hours to help machine learning understand any abnormal behavior. The system sends notifications when infrastructure security-related operations occur, either through email authentication or via the application's native email address. You can configure Telegram and receive push notifications in real time when events that are identified as particularly sensitive occur. Plugins: we can collect logs from AS400 and databases. In this case, SQL. Logs can be collected via an agent. The agent also provides deployment via an executable or MSI. The software itself can deploy agents as needed. Syslog: BusinessLOG is able to manage all non-Windows devices through the use of the Syslog protocol, i.e. UDP port 514, and therefore provides the ability to manage Linux, Unix, Mac, NAS, switches, network devices, and much more, including via TLS. The system allows subnets to be entered to automatically inventory all networks, all VLANs, and all subnets. Multi-domain mode is also possible. Cloud: BusinessLOG's third security mirroring allows all recordings made by BusinessLOG to be uploaded to the Microsoft Azure data center and viewed via a website. It is also possible to connect to the Microsoft tenant and audit 365, SharePoint, Exchange Online, OneDrive, and much more. The system works in multi-thread mode, so you can use all the power available for remote collection. We provide configuration export and import should you need to migrate your BusinessLOG license from one PC to another. The system also features an artificial intelligence engine that can analyze whether the software configuration has been done correctly. The artificial intelligence system provides us with feedback on the configuration that has been carried out. This button allows you to check for available updates. BusinessLOG includes a constantly updated manual. Here we have an artificial intelligence assistant that helps us configure the software and manage the main regulatory aspects. Here we can see the active licenses on this installation and the related enabled plugins. How can we register users who access BusinessLOG? For each user, we can give permissions regarding what they can and cannot see and access in read-only mode. It is also possible to define for each user who accesses the business log which machines they can audit or which groups of machines they can audit. Users can also access the business log via a native viewer installed on their workstation. It is possible to enter and register the system administrators who govern the network infrastructure. It is always possible, through artificial intelligence, to perform an in-depth analysis of the nominated users. Here is the information about the administrators of this organization. Remember that it is always possible to save or print the information from the analysis performed using artificial intelligence. Here we see the working log on this grid. On the left side, we see the machines within the infrastructure, with or without agents. In the center, we have all the logs and all the information that has been collected. At the top left, we always have a legend available. Queries in this grid are made by dragging the columns. Alternatively, we can filter in cascade or search for contains or does not contain. It is always possible to filter by date and time for each log row. With BusinessLOG, we can drill down into the event and view the complete operating system message. For each event line, we can verify that the digital signature affixed in real time at the time of collection is consistent with the registered signature, as well as produce standardized documentation of the information with the aim of validating these records against the main regulatory frameworks. The system also allows us to verify each log line through an artificial intelligence engine, with the aim of no longer having to access external services for further investigation of any event. And here we have the details of the event that has just occurred. Again, using artificial intelligence, it is possible to submit an in-depth analysis of events to a processing engine with the aim of identifying anomalies that would be difficult to find manually. And here is the result. We always have recommendations. Detailed findings for PCs and by type. The system also allows us to export the display in different formats. It is possible to save filters and open previously created filters. Search using an artificial intelligence engine directly in this box, where we can request any type of log. The system also allows us to build structured filters and organize and customize this display. The Event Alarms button is a particularly interesting feature of BusinessLOG for managing infrastructure security. The system allows me to create any alarm. You can choose an event from an infinite number of custom events already present in the system. For example, we can identify a login on a VPN. It is possible to select one device or all devices. We can choose a user from those present within the network infrastructure or all users resolved in Active Directory, and we can also define a time slot. Therefore, a VPN on a FortiGate device. Let's assume we are monitoring extra work activity from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. When this event occurs, the system is able to perform 4 operations. The first operation is to send an email to users who are enabled to receive notifications. We expect a second or third email in this box. The third operation is a real-time push notification on Telegram. The fourth operation is a PowerShell command sent, if necessary, with a domain admin user. BusinessLOG allows us, through its powerful artificial intelligence engine, to request the preparation of any PowerShell command. And so, with no query limits on the use of artificial intelligence, the system will prepare the PowerShell command to be pasted into this box, which will be launched when the previously tagged event occurs, according to the various rules of engagement set by the user. It is possible to test the command that will be prepared. BusinessLOG also allows us to add recommended alerts, and machine learning will analyze the information present through an engine and continuous correlation. It will then suggest recommended alerts based on the experience gained by analyzing the network infrastructure. The system allows us, again through artificial intelligence, to submit all security activities that have been configured to best manage the network infrastructure to a supervisor or external auditor. Here are the alerts that have been configured in this installation. We also have alerts in the data loss prevention world. It is possible to create an alert. You can define a path to monitor within the entire network infrastructure. You can choose a single file in this path, all files, or an extension. Let's choose all files, and then you can select the type of check. From which PC? Or all of them? From which user? Let's assume we want to monitor the activity of all users on a continuous cycle, and here we repeat, when this operation occurs, the system sends an email to users enabled for notification with details of what happened. Second, third email, real-time Telegram notification, PowerShell IA command that prepares PowerShell. In-depth analysis of the alarms that have been generated. Software alarms. On all devices. The system is able to make an inventory of all the software present within the organization. It is possible to receive a notification when there is a change in version, installation, update, or deletion of the selected software. Notification is always sent by email to authorized users. Second and third emails, real-time Telegram notification, PowerShell IA command that prepares PowerShell. The system also allows us to monitor certain paths. Any path within the entire network infrastructure in a grid called File Access Log allows you to see the activities performed within this grid, including the date and time, type of operation, file name, path, user, and PC. It is always possible to view the complete operating system message. An alarm was also set for this operation, so a notification was sent via email and telegram. All this information is signed and provides the possibility of standardized document production. It is also always possible to explain the event using artificial intelligence. I would also like to remind you that it is always possible to group and search. Saving the filter and exporting information, in addition to in-depth artificial intelligence analysis, with the aim of identifying behavioral anomalies on certain paths considered critical. USB. Here you can see the insertion of mass storage devices into a specific PC and view the movement of files within these devices. SQL. Here we have database management with all the information and details. Processes. Through this function, you can see all the processes started by all users. Artificial intelligence is always available for in-depth analysis. Print. BusinessLOG also provides the ability to monitor all print jobs by date, name, printer, file name, and target printer. The PC that performed the print job is connected via which user, always with the complete message and also the number of pages printed. Print to PDF operations are also recorded. Failed accesses. This is particularly useful for system administrators. In this case, we can investigate further. For each event, I always remember to apply the signature, the document production of the event, the explanation of the event. As for failed operations, BusinessLOG also provides us with guidance to prevent the failure from recurring. Here are the details of the event. It is also possible to analyze external IP addresses with the aim of assessing their reputation. And here are the details. Syslog. Syslog allows us to collect information about all non-Windows devices. Through a configuration help system, you can specify any non-Windows device. And the system will help you configure any NAS device, switch, firewall, Linux, Unix, Mac and much more. You will have all the configuration information in detail. In addition to the explanation of the event and in-depth analysis with artificial intelligence. Here we see the users, the history of users logged in on each device. Here we see the local users of each machine, passwords without expiry dates. Artificial intelligence is a great help in identifying and providing information about user accounts. We also have daily updates. Here too, we have the possibility to analyze everything through artificial intelligence. The antivirus log button allows us to manage information from EDR, XDR, Defender, and much more, and to obtain information regarding analyses, threats, scans, and detailed insights into all incidents that have occurred within the network infrastructure. It is always possible to gain further insight through in-depth artificial intelligence. And here is a whole series of insights. By accessing the machine list, we can see all the devices within the infrastructure without any numerical limits: 10, 100, 1000, 10,000. There are no limits. It is possible to disable the collection of a specific device for each one. For each device, we can see IP, roles, CPU, operating systems, and much more information. We can select each device. We can open it. We can view the KB with insights always related to artificial intelligence. It is possible to view a lot of information about the device, available space, alerts for each disk, roles, daily updated software inventory, hardware inventory, available system updates, local users, sessions, scheduled actions, and historical energy consumption day by day. The system also allows, through powerful calculations linked to an artificial intelligence engine, an in-depth analysis and report of each device without query limits. This in-depth analysis allows us to obtain a lot of information about the selected device. And we always have recommendations. Always within the machine list. We can obtain the software inventory of a device and the available updates. It is possible to perform tests on demand and assessments. DNS, reverse zone, ping, MTU packet loss. It is also possible to obtain a graphical representation of the organization's interconnections with related insights. Remote desktops can be performed on devices. There is also the option of using a powerful remote command system via PowerShell, where we can perform any operation on the remote device or on multiple devices. It is also possible to schedule the sending of PowerShell commands. The system allows us to ask the artificial intelligence to perform any operation with no query limits. The system will then prepare the command to be sent to perform any operation. The most frequently used commands can be added to templates. The system also allows us to export all grids to a native viewer already present in BusinessLOG. Therefore, it will be possible to work. Encrypt with a password, possibly to send to a supervisory body. Insert graphs, layouts, formulas, data. Share this information within the organization. Software Inventory BusinessLOG is able to continuously inventory all the software within the organization. An in-depth analysis using artificial intelligence of the software inventory allows us to obtain information regarding the relevance of the software present on each type of device. We always provide considerations and in-depth analysis. Hardware inventory. Energy consumption of the entire network infrastructure. Here, it is also possible to send hibernation commands with the aim of saving energy if the main user is no longer logged onto the device. System updates available. In this case, we can easily drag the columns and perform a search. In this case, we find that important updates are missing, so using PowerShell, we can select the device, send an update command directly to the machine, or, by scheduling the sending, we can also send it to other devices. In internal events, we can see all scans performed by BusinessLOG, agentless, and even users who have logged into the software. We can also see exports made by users, archives, and all saves in the second security mirroring are performed within encrypted XML files. The destination path can be chosen by the user. This information is encrypted in AES 256 mode. The BusinessLOG database also uses Blowfish. Opening archives through BusinessLOG, on the other hand, allows us to immediately normalize and investigate the event. We can send PowerShell commands. It is possible to see the PowerShell command sent, as well as the list of the most frequently used command templates. We also have a whole range of information about infrastructure performance and in-depth analyses. The BusinessLOG system also allows us to build a dashboard that is particularly suitable for large organizations, with the aim of being able to build analyses, insights, histograms, network infrastructure explosions, and apply economic parameters. It is possible to skim the information, intercept connections, and carry out standardized document production for various international regulatory frameworks. BusinessLOG also features a powerful information compression engine. In this demo version, we have 86 million log lines, and all this data is contained in a database of only 50 megabytes. The Syslog interpreter is an advanced feature of BusinessLOG that allows us to enable listening on UDP port 514 and debug mode in the configuration. I can tell any Syslog compatible device to send information to BusinessLOG. This information can come from CNC workstations, access control, cameras, software, or any device capable of sending information via the Syslog protocol. You can access these traces in raw, unnormalized format. We can select them. Artificial intelligence helps us format this trace. If some fields are not identified, we can enter them manually. This standardization can also be associated with custom events. We enable, save, select and generate the pattern. From this point onwards, all Syslogs with this formatting will be correctly configured. They will populate the Syslog grid with the relevant indexing, validation and standardized document production engine. In addition to allowing us to build custom events related to the event we have normalized. This operation can then trigger Telegram notifications, email notifications, alarms, and PowerShell commands. BusinessLOG also includes a very interesting feature. It is a virtual security operation center capable of grouping all the information contained within BusinessLOG, and through this grid we can, for example, monitor administrative sessions, external IP addresses, and alarms that we have configured. Application crashes, IP addresses outside the set ranges, installations and network activity, users working outside working hours, and new machines that are detected. We have a wealth of information that is particularly interesting for the proper management of infrastructure security. This information can also be streamed with a refresh every minute on an external website so that it can be consulted via a mobile application or a website. BusinessLOG's SOC is also subject to a very powerful SOC dashboard with artificial intelligence. On the left-hand side, we have the considerations from the last 2 days. On the right-hand side, we have a series of analyses aimed at making the organization more efficient. Recommendations and security guidelines are summarized in a PDF file. Every night at 0:01 via email in PDF format. All this information is always generated within BusinessLOG.